Unless you absolutely love dealing with a lot of crap in your business every day, and I mean like stuff that could easily be avoided, then maybe this isn't the video for you. But if you'd really rather not have to deal with as much as the next guy, I'm here to teach you a few things about that to save you a lot of time, misery, and energy that let's face it, you have limited resources and there's enough going on construction projects that you need everything that you can get to keep things going and save a little something for yourself and your family at the end of the day. Have you ever made a promise to someone about something you said would be complete, whether it was a report, quote, even something on the job site that you promised would be done? And I know some of you are already thinking, well, I didn't promise. I said it should be done on this day, but you gotta understand that what people hear when you say that is that I will have this complete, period. They don't hear the flexibility in it. So you need to take ownership of one, the word that you give. Two, you need to be mindful of if you're gonna miss that target, you need to find a way to stay ahead of the curve on that. There's a lot of things that can happen, and really, if you're not hitting those benchmarks and you haven't been in communication with the person that you know is expecting whatever this thing is, you're gonna run into a lot of heartache and a lot of drama that you really don't need. Trust me, we have all been there. You know, like your phone starts buzzing and you're like, please don't let it be this person, please. Anyone but them. Or God forbid your phone rings, because you know, we live in a world of text messages and emails, and then when the phone rings, it's really serious. So I can already feel the anxiety building just recreating this like thought process of what it's like to be in that situation. And I know a lot of you out there do deal with this on a day-to-day basis, but I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. When I say manage expectations to avoid a heap of BS, to really overcome this, ideally, so you can avoid this like cold sweat, worried feeling, frustration, anxiety, the physical stressors that come along with knowing that someone expecting something from you and you're definitely not going to deliver it, or God forbid, you're past when you said you would turn it in and they're having to come to you to be like, hey bro, what's up with that? Why didn't I get my update? Or where's this report? Or what's happening on my job? Like, hey, can this get delivered? Anything. You get the idea. Literally, you can feel the anxiety building when you think about what it's like, because we've all been there. We've all run into things like that. And honestly, the best thing you can do to avoid all of that stress and drama is just to own up to it. Ideally, before they come to you asking for answers. If you are proactive and you stay on top of things, like we all know, like when we're working on stuff, and if you have like kind of a running tally of things that need to get tackled, or got like, this is an outlier. Like if you just flat out miss something because you completely forgot, that's one thing to be responsible for, and work out how to make sure things stay like in your brain space, or at least in top of mind so you know to actually do them. That's one issue. A completely different issue is if you know that you have things coming up that you said you would have completed and you're just bumping up against that deadline and you know you're not going to make it. The second you know you're not going to make it, you are way better off just having a conversation, letting someone know, being straight about it. Does that eliminate their upset about it? Probably not, but it does, one, give you an opportunity to kind of work through it together, sort of as a team. It brings you into the fold with them as far as like what we can do to sort of manage what it is that needs to happen. And I'm not saying it's an opportunity to like make excuses, lay blame, things like that. It's really not it. It's really more about taking ownership of that you might miss the mark, or maybe you didn't account for the time appropriately to have it make sense. And in a way, it saves them from one having to chase you down, which first of all, that alone shows a level of respect that hiding from people doesn't. And it sort of reinforces that you have integrity with these promises that you've made, or these, oh, I should have this done by then. Basically anything that you put out there that someone's expecting, and if you know you can't deliver on it, the minute you kind of get back in the driver's seat and take ownership of the fact that it may not happen when it was originally projected, and you also acknowledge like the impact or what's really happening with them over there, like what's sort of the effect like of your cause in not turning in whatever it is that you needed to do. It gives them an opportunity to kind of feel through that and one, work with you and say, hey, all right, well, this other thing we were talking about is actually not as important as this first thing. So if we could retarget so we can focus on that, and then that gives you an opportunity to make a new commitment to when you will actually have things taken care of. A lot of it is sort of like taking the wind out of the sails of anger and putting it back in sort of like, we can keep this calm, it's level-headed, you've taken ownership, they can respect that, you're showing that you respect them by not having them have to hunt you down, which I know I've had to chase people I know I've been chased in the past and it really sucks. Nobody likes it. You don't want to be on either end of that scenario. So this is a way for you to get back in the driver's seat and be in control of the situation as best as you can, and also deal with any fallout sort of proactively rather than reactively. Because believe me, if people have been chasing you for an update for a week after the deadline passed, they're going to be way more pissed off at you than if you come to them a few days ahead, and not like at the 11th hour, like they're expecting it in the morning, or you've been telling them, yeah, everything's great, we're on track, we're good, and then it's not. Then you're going to be in a bit of trouble. As soon as you know that things are going off the rails, it's time to speak up. Just speak up and own it, and you will save yourself a world of misery. And honestly, in the long run, people will be happier with working with you because at least they know that they can trust you when you say things will happen, or they know if they don't happen, you'll find a way to make it right. And I think that really matters. And if you'd like to learn more, follow along. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's keep answering questions. Let's have a chat. Feel free to share this with anybody you know that's trying to duck someone in their life and on their construction jobs.